Hello traders, this is Daryl and it's Friday, December 9th, 2016. And we're looking at a Euro Pound 1 hour chart. And this is going to be a quick demo of supply and demand. Supply and demand is a terminology given to this style of trading, which highlights highs, which are called supplies, and lows, which are called demands. And the way to identify these is to look for price leaving a certain area quickly, and then we're going to look for price to come back to this area further in the future for a place to sell. On the demand, the low end, it's just the opposite. We're going to look for this place, a small area at this low, for price to come back to buy. And we happen to have two of these on the same page right here. And let me demonstrate this demand zone area here first. And this happens to be, let's see, this is about a year ago on a 1 hour Euro Pound chart, in case you want to look at your own chart. But we have this demand zone which set up down here, and I'm going to call it a demand zone. I identify it by putting a box around the last candle to smaller candle, hopefully a smaller body candle, to be in this area. And the box goes down to this area right here, and we have it actually almost hit only a few hours later, about a day later. Right here, this candle misses it by like 2 pips. Yeah, about 2 pips. Which would have hit that box if I'd have drawn this box from the very top to the very bottom. That's your choice. Generally, the correct way to do it, though, is to use the body and then the wick on either the top or the bottom, depending on whether it's the demand or supply. And then up here on top, the same thing. We're going to choose an area. Now up here we have this high coming out of this low, but we have a nice small candle here to give us this zone. And with this zone, I would like to look for an area starting with right here, because this is where price really left this area quickly. And now also another thing about this is, we're always warned against buying highs and buying lows and yada yada, which is generally tricky at best. However, this does give you a leg up on that. And not only that, but it gives you a smaller area for a stop loss. Like up here, this is only 5 pips. Of course, remember, this is the Euro Pound, which isn't traditionally a big mover. And even if we take the bigger one down here, our stop loss is only 11 pips. Okay, and usually we're going to want to look for at least a 2 to 1 for our reward to risk. So, in this case, with the spread here, we'd only be looking at 16 pips to make a 2 to 1, and this one down here, what was this, like 10, 11 pips, 10 pips, 11 pips. We'd be looking at 22 pips. Well, with the spread, maybe 24 pips in order to make our 2 to 1 on this one. Okay, so let's just go and see what happened later on. Okay, so this one in the top here that I marked off, it actually got hit and actually penetrated to the top, through the top of this by about a pip, not much at all. But this area definitely held it because we had buyers up here. Now, some people might draw this demand zone more like this, which may or may not always apply. I generally prefer, if I got a small candle down in here, to use this one. And you put your stop a couple pips on the other side, and this one would have been fine and easy to make 2 to 1 on here. And then now, even though this first one we looked at down here didn't quite really hit the area that I would prefer to see it hit, so actually I would have had a pending order right in here someplace, which would not have got picked up. Now down here, it goes right down into this by 4 pips, and if I still had my pending order on, my pending order would have got picked up here, and I would have had to sit around for a while and wait for some pips to be made, because at this point it only went up 27, which actually was 2 to 1 on this. So I could have taken my 2 to 1 there. But this is basically how these work out. Now, see this area up here that was hit from this supply zone, it may be good again, but once it's solidly hit like this, you're probably on a second approach to it, you're probably not going to want to bank much on it really slowing down price, because the way this works is up here at this supply zone, there's a lot of sellers waiting since how fast price left this area. This creates a situation of imbalance, and that's, without getting real deep, that's the best way I can explain it. There was price left here quickly, and so it kind of sets things out of balance in the entire market until price returns there, because a lot of people are waiting up here with pending orders, just like I would have been down here, and I would have probably been up here too, waiting with the pending order. So let's see if I can find any more examples of this. Now, this one where it shoots way up through here, when you have a long wick like this, as far as being a demand zone, it's more an area of general accumulation, but it's not an area that sellers or buyers usually like to hang out that much. Same thing on this low. This low has too many wicks. This one is just all balled up. Nobody's really doing anything. Price just kind of leaves, meanders on out of here. Nothing really drastic. Our next demand zone would be down here. Let's go ahead and mark this one. I'm going to get rid of this line here. Let's go ahead and mark this one and see if this one gets picked up further down the road here. And I'm going to use the smaller body candle from the open to the low. There we go. And let's see what happens down the road. Well, meanwhile, let's see if we can find some more supply-demand stuff. This almost looks like it, and on a smaller time frame, it would have worked because you see this one bar right in here. This is a 1 hour time zone. If we'd looked at this on either a 30 or a 15, we probably would have seen this area right in here, which price came up to, and once it came up to here, it dipped at least, I don't know, 14 pips, maybe a little bit more. But I generally don't do a lot of trading on anything smaller than a 1 hour, simply because there's usually not the room involved as far as getting some profits out of it. So let's call, anyways, this down here is a great example for a demand zone. And let's just see how this pans out down the road. Meanwhile, I'm looking, I don't see anything really here. This is kind of like an area But price, it's not that consistently just running out of an area. We're looking for something to run out of an area like it does right here. It leaves this area, bam, it's gone, like it's shot out of a cannon. So let's see if we can find another one down here for this low. Okay, looks like we're maybe going to run into the same thing here. Okay, coming down 73.80. Okay, 73.80. All right, well, let's see here. On a daily, where was my 73.80? Right down here. Okay, 73.80. Weekly. Nope, well, nothing there either, so it wouldn't have got hit again. But let me see here. So, okay, this looks like actually a good area right in here. I'm going to go ahead and just put a straight line on here. We'll go back and find it and see how this looks, pans out on a 1 hour, which is, when is this? This is, oh, on a 1 hour I can't find it. Well, I can find it on a 4 hour. So this is January 2015. I can probably find it on a 4 hour. Okay, yeah, here we go. So here's January 2015, and yeah, on a 4 hour, this is a really good demand zone, supply zone. Sorry, I always get that confused. So, okay, and here we go. I don't like the wick on the top of this candle, but price, I like the way price left here in a big hurry. So let's see what happens when it goes back to 78.05. 78. Okay, 78.05. And the first place it comes back to is right here. Yeah, right here where it. Now this was a 4 hour, so it's a pretty big stop, and the stop is 27 pips. It actually goes up 50. So this one could have been a loss. Now that can happen, but then again, this is like 15 months later, so all the sellers were maybe hanging out back there. So you generally want to look for stuff at least within the year, preferably maybe even just a month or two for some more active stuff. And let's look at this is a demand. This could be a demand area down here too. This is February 4th. Excuse me. This is February 3rd of this year, 2016. So in fact, let's change this to a 1 hour and really isolate this in. February 3rd on this low right here. Looks better on the 4 hour, so I would trade this one as a 4 hour. And here's why. These bars down here, let me enlarge them so you can see them better. These bars down here, now this one looks good, but then you see this one, these are all just going back and forth in here. And then, actually, you know what? This would be a good zone, but not one of those where you want to, bet the farm on it. So let's mark this kind of like a 4 hour. Mark this area, this zone right here. Okay, and then let's go on to. I just closed out a euro-dollar trade, by the way, that I've been in for quite a while, and I made a few pips, like 20 pips or something. So, okay, so let's see what happens at this area, 75.41 off of the future. And you know what? I don't think this does anything, but let's just see. Weekly, 75. 41. Yeah, no, where did I have that from? Here's 75, 41. Yeah, right here. It almost gets hit right here. Well, let's just see. What was the low of this? This is a weekly chart, by the way, I'm on now. The low of this was 75.63. So let's go back to this on a 4-hour, February 3rd. And, oops. Wrong year. February 3rd. There we go. Okay, so on a 4-hour, see this even would have looked better on a 4-hour, right? Because we use this smaller candle right here and mark it to, okay, so the top of this is only 53, so it would have missed this top right here, but it would have hit this one right here at, let's see, this is 58. Well, not actually, it would miss still by 6. But, you know, there's going to be buyers and sellers. Of course, this is whatever, 6 months later, so maybe it's not as pertinent any longer. But once again, this is what you kind of want to look for, is areas where you have a smaller candle and price leaves an area quickly. Actually, here's a perfect one right here. Here's 2 tiny candles, so it makes this zone right here, which is here to here. And the first time it comes back to here, it does penetrate. It's only a 15 pip zone, and from there it goes up 70, 65. So anyways, supply demand, any questions? I'm going to post a link to a site which has a lot more information on this, and I hope you enjoyed and learned something. And I've taken about 15 trades over 3 weeks doing these types of setups. Actually, some on smaller time frames too. And I've only lost 1 trade out of those 14 or 15 trades that I've taken. Everything else I managed to get some pips. My biggest winner, I think, was 39. But that's it. So hope you enjoyed. Bye for now.